Test scores have improved dramatically in the Alum School District of San Jose, and here to explain why is Stephen Fiss, the superintendent of the school district. Welcome to the show, sir. You know, for the longest time as a news reporter, and I've been here at Channel 11 for going on 17 years, and whenever we visited the Alum schools, it usually meant that something negative had happened, that things a lot of times, a lot of negative things were happening, and that includes the board and whatnot, but that's a whole different story. Here we're talking about something that's very, very positive, and the test scores. For you to have 14 schools scoring above an 800 API, where you have high poverty, what does that tell you about the tenacity of the kids who you're teaching there?
Well, it says a couple of things, is that we've always had wonderful students and families in Alum Rock, and now we're aligning resources in a way to make sure that every student succeeds. Our goal is that 100% of our students will meet or exceed grade level expectations, because we don't believe even one student should be left out of that discussion. And we're working hard to provide quality instruction through great teachers. We're looking at data consistently now and refining our teaching practice on a regular basis to meet individual student needs. And I think that it's that alignment, that strategic vision that's helped us improve scores over the last 5 years. I jokingly say, when I look at the scores in Alum Rock from one corner to the other corner, we're really going straight line, improving. And a lot of that, I think, is because we're aligning all the resources and our decision-making, our instructional practice toward improving our students' performance.
What are some of those resources? Are we talking about more teachers, or what are we talking about when we talk about more resources?
That's a great question. What we've done is we've partnered with outside agencies to help bring in additional resources to the district, because as you know, the state funding for education is rather restricted of late. So if we're going to make the differences that we've been making, we need to combine our internal resources with external providers. So we have funding coming from Cisco, from Applied Materials, from the Shortino Foundation, from the New Teacher Project, the County Office of Education. I could go on and on, but when we get those resources, we're aligning those resources all with one common goal: improving how our teachers teach and how our students learn.
And that, to me, is outside the box thinking when you start talking to the Ciscos and whatnot, because in a way you're helping each other. You're training their future workforce. If they want to stay competitive in a decade or so, these are the kids who are going to help them stay competitive. So it kind of behooves them to give you guys a hand.
And that's what they tell us. If you look at any of the studies from Business Roundtable, they want workers who leave high school are career college bound, are collaborative workers, are independent thinkers, are critical thinkers, and so they want to join with public education and help us make a difference. I think it's just reaching out to them, and what some of them have said is, we want to make a difference, so we want to go deeper. I think we've always had foundation support, but now the kind of support that we're getting from businesses and foundations and nonprofits are helping us go deeper in the process, and they're staying with us a longer period of time.
When you're giving kids iPads in elementary school, boy, that just, it opens their imagination, and I mean, it's limitless what they can accomplish once they have the technology in their hands. And that's what many of your kids are doing right now.
Absolutely. Well, probably for you or I, technology is second.
I'm still immigrating into it.
Right. I'm still learning it. I have to ask my grandson about using some of it. For our kids, when I go to San Antonio and Lucha and I watch the way our students use technology, how natural it is for them, and we're happy to have those, and we're still learning the best application for those, again, to maximize student learning. It's one thing that they're highly sophisticated learning devices, and now we have to figure out the best way for students to use them, so it's just not fun and engaging, but that it also makes a difference in how they learn.
You, aside from the state budget, we know that's a big burden on every school in the state. What are some of the things that still need to be improved on? I mean, I'm sure you're happy with 800, but how high can we go? What things do you think we need to work on still?
Well, internally, we're looking at all of our schools improving, even the ones that are above 800. So it's a continual cycle of improvement. And so for the schools that are already there, they're looking at how they get to their next level. For the schools that aren't quite at 800 yet, we want all of our schools to be at 800. We're focusing on improving our instruction at the middle school. We know we have to compete in the marketplace. There are schools of choice now, and we want parents in the community to say, we choose Alum Rock schools because we want our students to attend the best schools that they can. And I know Adelante, our very fine dual immersion academy, is that kind of school where parents want to come. And Cesar Chavez Elementary, parents want to come because, in part because of the parent engagement. Parents being engaged in their child's education is so fundamental to strong schools.
And a lot of parents, perhaps, they come from the east side, they drive through the east side to a school of their choice that is not Alum Rock, and maybe we can convince them to put the brakes on and pull over and stop. There is our web address for more information. We'll be back with Superintendent Fiss and talk more about the successes there at Alum Rock when we continue. Stay with us. We're back here on Comunidad del Valle with the superintendent of the Alum Rock School District, Stephen Fiss. Just to be honest, my daughter is a second grader at the Adelante Dual Language Academy, part of the Alum Rock School District, so full disclosure here on this show. But the reason, and I go back to the reporting that I've done over the last decade and a half about some of the bad things happening in Alum Rock, so that's why we're overjoyed to have you here. So overjoyed that there have been two recent principals in Alum Rock who've been named Principal of the Year. I was there for the announcement of one of them, and so I'm sure that most of your principals deserve that honor, but to actually get it is quite an honor. I
think they would both say that they were representing all the other principals they work with in Alum Rock, but Jason Surge at San Antonio and Renee Sanchez at Cesar Chavez are both great leaders, student-centered, and I was so proud when I found out that they were named Principal of the Year.
Talk about your teachers, because we hear about strife and discord in many school districts, and obviously budget has a lot to do with it. But talk about your hardworking teachers. I see it in the classroom, and you see it more than I do. Talk about that, if you will.
Well, we have a great core of teachers. I was with Alum Rock for about 12 years in the 80s and 90s, and one of the reasons I'm back with Alum Rock again is because of the great staff we have. The heart of any school district are the teachers. They're the ones that are interacting with students on a day-to-day basis. And while, as you said earlier, sometimes we get negative press about things that happen in our community, our teachers are among the best that I've seen anywhere that I've worked. And they're committed to our students, they're committed to the community, and they work hard every day. A teacher's job is incredibly difficult. From when I started in the profession 40 some odd years ago, teachers have to know so much. They have to focus on every single student, and they have to know how to take all of that curriculum that we have today and be able to interpret it in a way that makes sense for kids. And then they have all the pressure that comes with dealing with families and children, and the scores that they have to achieve on state tests, which are so visible today. And our teachers manage that so well.
Give us the state of the district, if you will. Budget-wise, where are we? I can't imagine where we would be without Prop 30 because, I mean, we were talking about drastic cuts. How is Prop 30 going to help you move forward? But where are we budget-wise?
Budget-wise, so a couple of positive things. The Alum Rock community, as it's done in the past, approved a bond election with almost 80% positive for a bond measure to help improve the physical school part of schools and infuse technology in the schools. So we're happy to have that. The voters in the past have approved a parcel tax, which is going in large measure to keep classes small in K-3. We've had a recession, which everybody has felt in every area of their life. School districts are no different. Since 2007, we've decreased in revenue by about 22% per student. And when I apply that to my own home budget, if my own home budget had 22% less funding, less available resource, and I've been using my bank account, I would have to start making some decisions. And Alum Rock is at the point now where we're having to look at our budget and make some hard decisions about where we're going to spend our money in order to correct for the deficiencies in state funding that have occurred for the last 7 or 8 years. The economy is getting better, so that's a good hopeful sign. Prop 30 did pass, but Prop 30, and the public should be aware of this, didn't provide any new money to schools. It only protected against further cuts. Now, am I happy that we didn't have to cut further? Absolutely. Thanks for voting for Prop 30, but it's not providing new money for us. So we're going to have to look at that critically in the next several months